top stories tonight. Defense headquarters denies targeting civilians in strike against terrorists in Sokoto State. ECOWAS describes terrorism allegations against Nigeria and other member states by Niger Republic as unfounded. Abia State government seals off buildings still under construction that collapsed on Christmas Day. And Senegalese Prime Minister sets to revoke amnesty law granted to former President Macky Sall. Thank you for joining us. I'm Felicity Ezewike. Let's begin by telling you that Nigeria's defense headquarters has dismissed claims of a misfire by Air Force jets attacking several communities in Sokoto State following offensive operations against terrorist group Lakurawa. Director of Defense Media Operations, while speaking to newsmen in Abuja, says that air operation targeted logistic hub of the terrorists, neutralizing several of them while others fled in a bid to escape the onslaught of troops stationed on the ground. Amadine Uyi reports.
It was a briefing to clear the air on the recent allegations that military airstrikes had killed several members of some communities in Sokoto State, a situation that has sparked nationwide criticism. The director of the Defense Media Operation says that the reports are false and do not paint the true picture of the situation.
The airstrike indeed hit logistic base of the terrorists, which led to secondary explosions, and it was these secondary explosions that led to some casualties that was earlier reported. The neutralized local terrorist combatants were burnt indeed beyond recognition because they were hit directly by the strikes.
He says that intelligence by the military was duly carried out and confirmed by locals within the community.
Locals confirmed that the Lakurawa terrorists stayed in the village and used the general area as a staging area for the conduct of their operations. Also, intelligence surveillance and reconnaissance, as well as human intelligence reports prior to the operation, consistently indicated the hideout was a high concentration terrorist location. The airstrike, at the end of the day, had minor impact on the surrounding villages.
He also urged citizens not to panic over the recent reports of a drone attack on a military base in the northeast, saying that drones were not military grade and did not achieve any objective.
The use of drones in the battlefield is not new. Now, when we are talking of drones now, please, we don't want unnecessary panic because these are not professional drones, not military graded drones. These are toys that they went to buy and found a way to put one or two things on board and use them. How effective were they? They were not effective. Are we doing something about it? Yes, we are. I don't call them really attacks, I call them harassment, because those are harassments.
General Buba also dismissed the allegations of the establishment of a foreign base in Nigeria, saying that they are mischievous and false. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
To give us more update, we're now joined by our correspondent, Amadine Uyi. Amadine, it's good to have you on the news. Quickly, what more can you tell us about this incident? Have you spoken to some analysts, perhaps? Is the excuse being given by the army being accepted in the analytical space?
Okay, Felicity, definitely I spoke to one or two analysts after that briefing, and one of them categorically said that before any air interdiction mission is carried out, it's not just a one-man decision, that decision is usually approved after several key players within the operation have reviewed ISR intelligence information, the intelligence surveillance and reconnaissance information, and then that this usually takes several days, not just a one-off thing. So there's a likelihood that before that airstrike was carried out, the Nigerian military, the defense headquarters would have tried to assess and appraise several ISR information that they had, so that there is a likelihood that what the military is saying is true, that those communities were communities that were sort of in bed with the Lakurua terrorist group, and so the military had no option but to strike those bases. Now the defense headquarters is saying that it targeted logistic bases, and so the director of defense media operations said it clearly that yes, there were secondary explosions because they targeted ammo depots and the rest, and that it was those secondary explosions that affected some members of the community, and that the information is not as it is being portrayed on social media in several reports that the military just targeted communities.
Yeah, but does that, I mean, I'm still speaking to you in your capacity as maybe you've spoken to some analysts, but does that absolve them of some responsibility? Because the tone of that presser from the military, it seems like they were just saying that they did their job and something happened. It doesn't seem to be an acknowledgement that civilians actually died as a result of a secondary explosion from a targeted strike.
Now, Felicity, I'm not in a position to judge the military, but the one thing I can tell you, as someone who has covered the military over time, that this strike was just one off. There are hundreds of strikes that go on. If out of over 100 airstrikes and there's complaint about one, we too as civilians, we too as citizens who want peace and who want to be more protected, we have to judge the military very lightly, because there is no part of the world where you don't hear of this kind of misfires. If you follow the Russian-Ukrainian conflict, you follow the Israeli conflict, every day you hear of schools being targeted, you hear of ambulances being targeted, and they come out to say that they did not intend to target it. So for me, I think I would like to give the Nigerian military some space, because for this operation, this campaign against terrorism has been going on for over 12 years. And if you want to just look at those 12 years, ask yourself, how many misfire incidents have we had? I don't think there are more than 4. For an operation that goes on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Ahmedine, one Nigerian, just the way we complain when a military officer is affected or killed in combat, one civilian life is also very important, and acknowledging and, you know, showing some sort of remorse, some would say, would be appropriate consideration for the families that died. Thank you very much for speaking with us as always.
Thank you, Felicity.
The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has described terrorism allegations against Nigeria and other member states by Niger Republic as unfounded, saying it stands solidly behind its members. The Republic of Niger had accused Nigeria and other ECOWAS members of colluding with France to destabilise the country. But in a statement on Thursday, ECOWAS described the allegations as unfounded. The regional bloc called on all states in the region to promote dialogue and stability and refrain from making accusations that are not supported by any evidence. The federal government of Nigeria had denied Niger Republic's allegation on Thursday. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, made the rebuttal in a statement amid claims by Niger Republic's military leader that Nigeria was working with France against his country. Governor Caleb Mufwang of Plateau State has revealed that the security situation on the plateau has improved in recent months. Governor Mufwang, after a visit to President Bola Tinubu in Lagos, commended the efforts of federal government in trying to restore peace, saying that the recent Christmas holidays has not witnessed any attacks on communities, especially when compared to the same period in 2023.
Things are getting better. Security-wise, certainly we are better off this year than we were last year. Apart from the fact that the security forces on ground are doing their best, we have also invested a lot in technology. We have been able to do a lot of mobilization of communities. And so there is a lot of consciousness, that has kept people aware. And it hasn't been 100%. There have been a few incidences here and there. But on the whole, I can tell you that things are getting better. Well, with the support of Mr. President, I can assure you that we're not going to take our foot off the pedal. We're going to make sure that we cross the T's, dot the I's as far as security is concerned, and make sure that we make it more difficult for criminality to take place within our borders.
To the energy sector now, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited, NNPCL, has confirmed a downward review in the price of premium motor spirit, commonly known as petrol. This move comes as part of ongoing efforts to reduce the economic burden on citizens amid rising living conditions. Previously, the product sold for more than 1,030 naira per litre in Lagos and the surrounding area, while in Abuja and the northern region, it cost more than 1,060 naira per litre. News Center's Bettina Uweli reports the accuracy of this reduction in some fuel stations as citizens react.
Reports from major cities, including Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt, indicate that the adjustment has already taken effect at filling stations. Long queues witnessed in recent months are beginning to ease as citizens express relief at this development.
I drive almost every day to work, and by the time you buy, before now you buy 1,025 naira, and just to go to the island and back, you are already talking about 20,000 naira fuel, But I believe that with this reduction, at least one can be able to save a bit. Because before now, sometimes I don't even drive to work. I just have to park the car, But now, at least with this reduction, one can say, okay, but we still expect more reduction. We still expect that there should, at least this competitiveness in fuel in prices, it should come down. It can still come down. We're all producing nation. It can still come down.
Before, with 20,000 naira, you can just buy like 17 liters of fuel. But last time I bought 20,000 naira, I have 22 liters. Now I'm going to buy 15,000 naira. I think I'll have like 17 liters also, which is quite, not that the direction, but it's reasonable. But across now, the other position, they are selling 107. Total are selling 107.
While some stations are still operating at the previous price, some citizens feel there is a need for further reductions for the impact to be felt.
If they are ready to drop the price of fuel, at least down to 500, it's okay. But in that case, that kobo of a year, 2 kobo or something is insignificant. It doesn't affect our business. So it's just sort yours as business as usual. You cannot drop the price because it doesn't have any effect. So we want to beg the government to help us, at least at this time now, where the transport is being so high, everything is skyrocketed. They need to help us drop the price of fuel, at least to 500. We appreciate it.
Truly, I read it on a paper that there's going to be a reduction. Meanwhile, all the dealers of petrol are yet to comply with the new price stated inside the paper. In lieu of that, I hereby regard that it's a paper talk until it comes to manifestation, where we are buying it at the low price.
The government has reiterated its commitment to maintaining a stable supply of petroleum products and addressing other economic challenges facing the nation. However, experts have cautioned that long-term solutions such as investment in local refineries remain crucial for sustainable growth. In Lagos, for News Central, I am Bettina Uweli.
Away from that, economic activities are yet to fully resume at the Federal Secretariat complex in Abuja following 2 days of public holiday declared by the federal government for the Christmas festivities. A visit to the Secretariat complex found many offices locked, the area lacking its usual flurry of activities as many workers failed to resume to their duty post. Our correspondent Idong Joseph has more on this story.
The Federal Secretariat, one of the busiest workplaces for civil servants in the capital, Abuja, has witnessed a much slower than usual bustle of activities as many workers fail to resume on the first official day of resumption after the Christmas festivities. Some sources here at the Secretariat say that workers took advantage of the holiday to extend their break, while others delayed their resumption due to the non-payment of their December salaries, contributing to the low turnout.
According to some of the civil servants, they complain that they have not collected they have not received their salary. I think that was what kept some of them not to come to work.
This is a festive period, okay, and you know many people must have traveled or some are home, they've taken their leave to relax because of the Yuletide period, because they are expecting low activities in the office. There's secondly maybe for financial reason, and some people maybe as a result of bank, of recent there have been some little challenges from the bank and they have not collected their salary.
Meanwhile, business owners around here have also felt the sting of a slow recovery, which some say has made business slow.
In the time where it didn't work very well, as my business they approve well. This time around, bros, it's sweet.
We are here because of people patronize the business. Since there is no people in the premises, how do you expect the business to move?
Some of them also expressed optimism that sales will pick up in the coming days as more people return to work and settle back into their regular routines.
Today is another day, and we still believe tomorrow is another day as usual. If we cannot make it today, we believe when tomorrow we can get what we want.
Next week, if you come out because you not go sit down house, you want to chop. Next week, say New Year. So this secretariat will be like this again.
As citizens enter the final days of the year, many are hoping that the new year will be better than the last. However, for those around the Federal Secretariat complex, they await a return to its usual bustle of activities. In Abuja for News Central, I am Idong Joseph.
Coming up, Abia State government seals off buildings still under construction that collapsed on Christmas Day. We'll tell you more when we come back. Do stay with us. If you've just joined us, you're watching Tonight. A reminder of our top stories. Defense headquarters denies targeting civilians and strike against terrorists in Sokoto State. ECOWAS describes terrorism allegation against Nigeria and other member states by Niger Republic as unfounded. Abia State government seals off building under construction that collapsed on Christmas Day. Senegalese Prime Minister set to revoke amnesty law granted to former President Macky Sall. The Abia State government has sealed off a building under construction on Ozoitem Street in its capital, Umuahia, after it caved in on Christmas Day. General Manager of the Umuahia Capital Development Authority, Kinsley Agomo, confirmed the government's action to News Central in a telephone interview, but the developers appear to be at large. The cause of the collapse has not yet been officially established, but residents in the area say there were no casualties as workers didn't show up due to the festive season.
I'm a project manager by profession. When I saw the building, I found out one of the reasons why the building collapsed was the strength of material was poor, and the engineer and the architecturing work was not really, I don't think they're professionals about that. So they have to seal off for now, stop work, come and I think negotiate and do the needful before the work commenced.
When you see engineer or see no help, I see help or see iron bender or engineer from the here site or agreement. You can have what you like email or them. When you to at area, but I'm holding here, you get Americans or you got here. I come here.
Earlier, we had our correspondent, Chinwe Ugele, who brought updates from the site of the collapse where a bulldozer had been deployed to demolish the remaining parts of the structure.
Right behind me is the building that collapsed on the 25th of December, just 2 days ago, and jolted this entire neighborhood of Ozuitem Street in Umuahia, Abia State capital. It is yet unknown the reason for the collapse of a section of the building, which was still under construction. But then there were no casualties, and that is understandable because it was on the Christmas day, so workers are not expected to be on site. But then that also puts a lot of question to the integrity of some of the buildings that go on within the state capital. Abia State government already sealed.
In the meantime, Abia State Governor Alex Otti has signed the 2025 budget estimate of 750,282,200,000 naira only into law. Governor Otti commended the lawmakers for the speedy consideration of the bill. He said that the budget would give his government the impetus to continue to deliver on his promises to the citizens. He said as a budget of sustained momentum, most of the projects that were started in 2023 would be completed in 2024. Presenting the budget to the governor earlier, the Speaker, Abia State House of Assembly, assured that the lawmakers would continue to work with the executive arm of government to see that Abia State progresses. Assuming office in 2023, the current administration under President Bola Tinubu has embarked on several key infrastructure projects focusing on transportation, housing and urban development. News Center's Joshua Imarayi takes a look at some of these projects and their potential impact in continuation of our sectorial overview in 2024.
Since assuming office, President Bola Tinubu has outlined an ambitious plan for infrastructural development across Nigeria, with a focus on transforming transportation, housing, and urban planning. His government has rolled out several key projects aimed at addressing the country's long-standing infrastructural challenges. One of the most prominent has been the rehabilitation and relaunch of the Abuja Light Rail, a project designed to alleviate traffic congestion and offer a more efficient public transportation system in the nation's capital.
The Abuja Metro was inherited by my administration from my predecessor. It was first commissioned in 2018 for public use, but this is not to be. COVID-19 struck. The train service was abandoned, vandalized then, disused and abused.
The Abuja Light Rail is now fully operational, and the president has announced free rides for Nigerians during the festive period. Another major undertaking which has generated diverse reaction has been the commencement of the construction of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road project. This promises to link vital southern cities, enhance trade, and increase access to critical ports. However, the project has faced significant delays and raised concerns about its environmental impact and expected funding, sparking debate about its long-term feasibility.
We instituted an action in the Federal High Court challenging the award of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, the process for award of the contract. We expect the courts to essentially examine our case. What we are saying is that due process was not followed. This is a multi-trillion contract. There was no competitive bidding. It was awarded on a single source basis. We feel that this is in contravention of the Public Procurement Act as well as the Environmental Impact Assessment Act.
President Tinubu also launched a renewed Hope Housing project aimed at tackling Nigeria's massive housing deficit. The initiative seeks to provide millions of Nigerians with access to affordable housing, offering solutions to urbanization challenges while promising to improve the living standards of citizens across the country.
We know the value of housing. We appreciate the fact that it is an elixir for economic prosperity, job creation, hopefulness.
However, issues surrounding affordability, transparency in distribution, and the actual number of homes being constructed remain points of contention. While the government pushes ahead with this project, recent events have cast a shadow on the nation's infrastructure management practices. The collapse of the Alo Dam in Borno State sparked calls for more accountability and better maintenance standards in the management of infrastructure, especially national ones.
The preparation of this report was conducted in collaboration with the National Committee for the Assessment of the Integrity of all Dams in Nigeria. We collected extensive data, conducted interviews, reviewed maintenance records, and examined the dam design and construction.
In addition to this high-profile project, the Federal Capital Territory has seen considerable road development. Under President Tinubu's administration, the FCT minister has overseen the construction of new roads, bridges, and other initiatives aimed at addressing traffic congestion and improving Abuja's overall infrastructure.
Infrastructure is key. It is the basis for development. Before you can start thinking about doing something else, number one, you need good roads to be able to move around. You need good roads to move around. Before, if you have issues, security issues, security men need good roads to be able to get to you quickly. Even if you have health issue, you need good road to be able to get to, for people to be able to take you to a hospital.
However, as promising that these projects are, they are not without their challenges.
People are suffering. The president is having sleepless night how to help the people. And then we give people jobs and they are telling us stories. There have been jobs awarded by this ministry in the past, money paid. Then the contractors have the money. Oh, there is insecurity.
From environmental concerns and land acquisition disputes to questions surrounding the sustainability and maintenance of key projects, there's still much work to be done. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarayi.
To help us this into perspective, we're joined by former Secretary General, Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, Adewumi Akinpelu. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for speaking with us as well. Let's talk to us about this 1 year infrastructure. It's in the news all the time. If it is not road, it is bridge. You know, would you say that this administration in 1 year have done relatively well when it comes to infrastructure development?
Actually, to start with, infrastructure has two phases. We have the social infrastructure and the economic infrastructure. I think what the government is concentrating on now, they are concentrating on the economic infrastructure. That is road, power, dams, and some other infrastructure that you need to drive the socio-economic activities of the country. But when you look at it, because of the paucity of funds, My advice is the government should try and shift all this economic infrastructure to private sector under the PPP arrangement and concentrate on the social infrastructure. The social infrastructure like the schools, like the hospital, these are the infrastructure that will have direct impact on ordinary citizens on the road. If there is available health care center, good hospitals where people can take, good health care service system, it will be more meaningful to that. Then also agriculture, government is trying to invest in infrastructure. But the point is there needs to be a synergy between the state government and the federal government. All the gains from the removal of subsidy, I think the government needs to find a way of thinking outside the box, find a way of deploying this money into infrastructure that will have direct impact. Road, by the time you look at it, yes, it is good infrastructure, but does it have direct impact on the people? No.
Okay, so it's not like you have a problem with the fact that they're actually putting up infrastructure, but the focus of the infrastructure is a concern for you. Let's look at the controversy that has come up with some of these major constructions that have the government has undertaken. The one that readily comes to mind was the landmark event. New Central actually had a town hall to discuss the offshoot and concerns of landowners in that area. What would be your assessment of how the government has managed controversies that come up from some of these infrastructure developments that have impacted standing infrastructure and people's investment?
You see, the coastal road, there's one thing you need to look at. Every administrator has 4 years to deliver whatever they want to deliver. Yes, the procurement aspect of it might be having some problem. Probably there's no proper stakeholders engagement, no proper environmental impact assessment. But if you look at the economic value that this infrastructure is going to bring into the economy, the Federal Ministry of War, I think there are some lacuna here and there. Even if there is going to be one single contractor that is going to handle that project, the Procurement Act ought to have been followed. If, like for instance, the contractor has submitted a kind of unsolicited proposal, what federal government ought to have done is to have subjected it to what we call Swiss challenge. Invite other contractors to tender for the job, and then you can now give first right of refusal to the contractor that is handling it. By then, we will have carried other people along, stakeholders engagement, environmental impact assessment must have been done through market sounding. And I'm sure the federal government must have learned their lesson in that phase one. Subsequent one, they should follow the Procurement Act so that there will be transparency, there will be accountability. But on the overall, that infrastructure is needed because of the economic impact that it's going to have on our economy.
Adewumi, thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you very much.
Every Christmas celebration is typically marked by festivities, exchange of food and other gift items that traditionally characterize the occasion. Meanwhile, the Benekru community in Warri Southwest local government area of Delta State, South Nigeria, celebrated the day with a carnival that brought together distinguished guests from all walks of life. News Center's correspondent Austin Azu, who covered the event, reports that it is the 17th edition.
The 17th editions of the Benekru Christmas Carnival, sponsored by the Esther Matthew Tongloha Foundation, commenced with a prayer and thanksgiving section at the Benekru Community Event Center, Baramatu Kingdom in Delta State.
For this land of Benekuko, that this land of Benekuko will never cry for the evil plan. Yeah, so this place that it shall be well with them. Amen. Everything that they ask from our Lord Jesus Christ, God will give to them. Amen.
Subsequently, the carnival procession commences, featuring various groups and individuals, showcasing their vibrant ceremonial attire to illustrate the celebration. Extra Tonglaha, who distributed thousands of school bags to children and individuals to demonstrate Christmas love and sharing, spoke alongside the community chairman and others about the carnival's history and significance.
Trying to meet people, the needs of children, trying to draw men close to God.
The greatest achievement of this carnival is showing love, which truly reflects the birth of Christ. You know, Christ symbolizes love.
This is organized by my parents, and we're here to show love to everyone and here for the community because they don't have access to this, so we try to bring the outside world back here to the village and show everyone love.
The chairman's opening remarks paved the way for the carnival fiesta, after which Adekule Gold, Zilanta, Olamide and other entertainers thrilled the crowd with musical performances and comedy. Nollywood stars were not left out of the colorful event.
I am very, very delighted to be here. I'm afraid of water. I had to go through water to come here. But when I get used to it, I will come back.
A thing of joy to be in this community and be welcomed the way we were welcomed. It's difficult really to spend Christmas outside my home and outside the presence of my children and my grandchildren. But I have to come here because my fans are here. They appreciate me a lot here, and I cannot deny them my presence.
Speaker of the Delta State House of Assembly, Momotimi Gowo, and others share insights on how the carnival has helped reduce youth restiveness in Baramatu Kingdom and beyond.
Also creating peace, a peaceful atmosphere, and it shows that Baramatu Kingdom and the entire Niger Delta is one of the most peaceful areas across the country.
Anybody that comes here to work today, whichever thing you get from this place is going to help you to assist yourself in terms of finance. Both Shekiri, Jaws, Robos, we all are united. This process unites us together, so we enjoy it together.
The event, however, entered another phase where these beauty pageants displayed the unique cultural rhymes and styles of the Baramatu people as they compete among themselves to be crowned the next queen of Benekuku community. The competition culminated in coronation of a new queen, was crowned, awarded cash prize and other items by Esther Matthew Toglaha Foundation, supported by Tatita Security Services Nigeria Limited, where her fellow contestants also received prizes and items.
So I'm very happy, and I also thank the EMT Coalition for giving me this opportunity.
A notable feature of the Benekuku Carnival was the community cultural dance, celebrating the Baramatu people's cultural legacy, designed to promote unity, tourism and economic development in the Niger Delta region. Reporting from Benekuku community for News Central, I'm Austin Azu.
Still ahead, Senegalese Prime Minister set to revoke amnesty law granted to former President Macky Sall. That's after the break. Do stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Senegalese Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko announced that his government would introduce legislation to revoke the amnesty law granted to former President Macky Sall, which covered 3 years of political violence that resulted in numerous deaths. The controversial amnesty, granted just before the March 2024 elections, sparked significant debate as Sall sought to ease tensions after delaying the presidential race. Critics argue the move aimed to shield those responsible for serious crimes, including homicides, committed during political unrest from February 2021 to February 2024. The law also allowed Sonko, despite his court convictions, to run for president alongside Bassirou Diomaye Faye, who ultimately won. Nigeria's aviation authority has banned Ethiopian Airlines and other carriers for passengers' rights infractions. Leko Nobanjo tells us more in this business report.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has banned Ethiopian Airlines alongside 4 other carriers for breaching passenger rights. Ethiopian Airlines, Africa's largest and most prestigious carrier, was sanctioned in violations of NCAA regulations under Part 19, which govern passenger rights. The authority in a statement said the ban marked a significant regulatory intervention aimed at safeguarding air travelers during the peak holiday season. The Ethiopian Airlines is accused of failing to process refunds within stipulated timelines, mishandling and short landing baggage, and not responding promptly to directives issued by the NCAA. The NCAA has made clear that even leading international carriers like Ethiopian Airlines are not exempt from regulatory compliance. Nigeria's crude oil continued to be in high demand despite changes in global energy policies and volatility in oil prices. Based on recent trade data from the National Bureau of Statistics, the US, France, and Spain are the top markets for its crude produce. The report revealed that dynamics of Nigeria's energy exports have changed, with the United States surpassing the Netherlands as the country's largest importer of crude oil in the first 9 months of 2024. Between January and September 2024, the U.S. bought 3.64 trillion naira worth of Nigerian crude, demonstrating its importance as a trading partner. Nigerian crude oil imports to France totaled 3.34 trillion naira, demonstrating the two countries' close energy relations. Also, Spain, with a market demand of 3.02 trillion naira, expanded its imports from Nigeria as part of the European Union's energy diversification plan to lessen its dependency on Middle Eastern supplies. Finally, Ethiopia has emerged as a surprising player in the cryptocurrency space, earning $1 billion in Bitcoin mining revenue in 2024. This achievement was made possible by harnessing excess electricity generated by the Grand Renaissance Dam, a massive hydropower project. According to reports, Bitcoin mining now accounts for 18% of Ethiopia's electricity revenue, showcasing the potential for sustainable energy to power economic growth in Africa. Analysts say Ethiopia's $1 billion Bitcoin mining milestone underscores the transformative potential of combining sustainable energy with innovative technology. They believe that by leveraging the Grand Renaissance Dam's hydropower, Ethiopia has positioned itself as a leader in green cryptocurrency mining, offering a blueprint for other nations to follow. And that's all on business news. I am Leko Nobanjo.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
In sport,
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
And in sport, the inaugural Lagos Liga wrapped up in a dramatic fashion at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, with Premier Sporting clinching the title after a nail-biting 9-8 penalty shootout win over Apple BFC. The match ended 1-1 in regulation, with Apple B's Rahim Ishola opening the scoring before halftime. Premier Sporting almost responded with a stunning long-range effort from Hassan Abba, but Apple B's goalkeeper made a spectacular save, deflecting the ball onto the crossbar. Premier Sporting fought back, and in the dying moment, Precious Miadinho scored to level the game, sending it into extra time. Both teams were perfect from the spot until Appleby Rahim Ishola missed their final kick, sealing Premier's victory and the 50 million naira grand prize. The tournament saw an impressive 109 goals scored. The Black Galaxies of Ghana concluded their preparations for the second leg of their CHAN 2024 qualifier against Nigeria Super Eagles B with an evening training session at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo. The Ghanaian contingent arrived in Nigeria on Friday afternoon, touching down at the Victor Atta International Airport at 12:15 p.m. Led by coach Didi Dramani, the team wasted no time to settle into their surroundings, holding their only training session on the same day. According to Edidi Young-Steven, the Nigerian Football Federation team liaison officer, all arrangements were made to ensure a smooth stay for the visitors. The first leg in Accra ended in a goalless draw, leaving everything to play for on Saturday. The winner will secure a spot in CHAN 2024 tournament in Tanzania, Kenya and Uganda. And now to football in Europe, Rangers head coach Philippe Clement has expressed uncertainty over the extent of Leon Balogun's injury after the Nigerian defender was forced off in the first half in a 2-1 loss against St. Mirren. The 36-year-old has been a key figure in Rangers' defense this season, playing more matches in the first half of the campaign than he did throughout the previous one. However, Balogun's outing at the Smisa Stadium lasted just 19 minutes before he was replaced by Robin Proper, having initially tried to shoulder on. After the match, Clement admitted he could not assess Balogun's injury immediately as his attention was needed elsewhere during the game. Rangers trail leader Celtic by 12 points and must now focus on building consistent momentum to revive their title hopes. At Rapper Sports Update, Ward number 2, Iga Swiatek said on Friday she was ready to put a drug scandal behind her, insisting there was no reason for the World Anti-Doping Agency to appeal against her case. The 23-year-old Pole tested positive for the heart medication trametazidine in an out-of-competition sample in August when she was ranked number 1. However, the International Tennis Integrity Agency accepted that the violation was unintentional and she escaped with a 1-month sanction that saw her miss 3 tournaments in Asia and lose her top ranking. News of the saga only emerged in late November and she will play her first tournament since then at the Mixed Teams United Cup in Sydney ahead of the Australian Open next month. And that wraps it up on Sports Update. I'm Favour Itua.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
Up next is entertainment.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
Now in entertainment tonight. Funke Akindele is all smiles as her latest movie breaks records, becoming the first Nollywood film to gross $194,560 in diaspora sales and counting. In a heartfelt message, the actress and filmmaker expressed gratitude to her amazing cast, loyal fans, and the supportive diasporan community. She credited their love and encouragement as a key to this milestone achievement. With numbers still climbing, Everybody Loves Jennifer continues to cement Funke Akindele's status as a trailblazer in Nollywood. On the international scene, a judge has denied Jay-Z's bid to dismiss a rape case filed by a woman, identified as Jane Doe, who claims the rapper assaulted her in 2000 when she was 13. The judge also allows the accuser to remain anonymous for now, despite Jay-Z's legal team pushing to reveal her identity. Judge Annalisa Torres criticized Jay-Z's lawyer, Alex Spiro, for using aggressive and inflammatory tactics, calling them a waste of judicial resources. Doe, represented by attorney Tony Bundby, alleged that she was drugged and raped by both Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs after a 2000 MTV Video Music Awards party. Jay-Z and Combs have denied the accusations, citing inconsistencies in Doe's claims. The judge stated that while anonymity is granted for now, the decision could change as the case progresses. Both sides are preparing for further legal battles.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
And that's all we have for you tonight. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. Defense headquarters has denied targeting civilians in strike against terrorists in Sokoto State. ECOWAS has described terrorism allegations against Nigeria and other member states by Niger Republic as unfounded. Abia State government has sealed off building under construction that collapsed on Christmas Day. We also brought you news that Senegalese Prime Minister is set to revoke amnesty law granted to former President Macky Sall. You can always catch up with the latest news by watching News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Apple TV and on YouTube. Thank you as always for your kind attention. Have a good night.